Hey everybody, it's the Boston Source checking in here once again, and I have a special guest with us here for a few moments as she is getting ready for her bout on May 17th against Precious Harris-McCray in San Jose. She is the most decorated fighter in mixed martial arts as a 17-time MMA champion, but is also coming off of a stoppage win over Valentina Angarita in March. She is undefeated in the boxing ring and aiming to keep that here coming up on May 17th. Of course, hailing from Brazil, now residing in Las Vegas, it's the one, the only Cris Cyborg. How you doing?
I'm great. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. It's always amazing to share a little bit about my training, everything for people to get excited for my next match.
Yep, you got this coming up here May 17th. Fight Night San Jose, Part 3. Of course, tickets available on Ticketmaster there or fightnightsanjose.com. You're going to be part of this event here. That's going to be a mixture of, boxing, Muay Thai, mixed martial arts, and things like that. This is, how they kind of like started their little movement there in San Jose. How much are you looking forward to being involved in this event coming up?
No, I'm really excited for the opportunity. This event, I'm gonna be working with Gilbert Melens. As we fight a lot, did a lot of fights together, and then worked too with Scott Coker. Who was my promoter for Bellator Strike Force. It's really nice. Back to San Jose. It was a really special place. I got my first start in my career against Gina Carano on the Strike Force, so it was a really special place. And they're gonna be a special day too, May 17th. It's gonna complete exactly this day. I fought 2005, my first professional fight in MMA. So it's gonna complete 20 years. So I'm really excited. I'm here in Seattle doing training with Team Benavides and be learning every day. Finishing my camp here is really to be 100% be ready for my next fight.
Yeah, gotcha. Now you had that great performance against Angarita in your last bout that led to yet another stoppage victory. Now, have you become more comfortable in the boxing ring that you're able to be able to stop a number of your opponents or your previous opponents?
Um, you know, from MMA, I really have hands, but the boxing is different style, especially because it's a 2 minutes round. Usually, I fight 5 minutes round. It's really quick, fasting. Because this, I think, is really important. We do a lot of repetition. You learn the setup, for the fighting. But it's really 2 minutes because this is, I think, is really right to be doing the camp here with only boxing because it was really changed a little bit. It's a different sport, the MMA. So I dedicate and start the bottle again, come to boxing. But I really excited. I love challenge. I love working with Team Benavides here. They're our family. And we have a great style together. I always welcome further. People know my fights. And then I will improve my game more and more to be here.
Gotcha. Yeah, that is like one of those big adjustments. Going from 5 minute rounds, 3 rounds or whatever it is there in MMA to just 2 minute rounds here in boxing. So it's like your whole, like I said, your mentality is different in how you approach your opponent because you
Yes.
don't have like at least in one particular round, you don't have something where you could be able to like say for example maybe rest for a minute or be able to
Yes.
properly approach your opponent. Here, you only have 2 rounds, so you got to go all in pretty much right then and there.
Yes, the different 30 second in boxing, 30 second MMA is completely different. You can throw a lot of punches in boxing 30 seconds. And in MMA, you can take it out, hold the punch, you can hold a hug. It's really different. But it's really nice to be here and to be practicing training with these guys. These guys here is a beast in training every day, young and they're excited. They have a dream in their hearts. I like to people be around people hungry and really good.
Yep. Yeah. Shout out to Jose Benavides Sr. there, of course, out in the Seattle area in Washington. How is it working with Jose Sr. And what would you say is that biggest or the biggest adjustment that you've had, over the course of your boxing career, going from, being partly a striker in MMA to fully being in boxing?
The big difference work of Jose Benavides He not just a great coach, but he's a nice person. I love to be around him. And then it's a family. You know, he's have amazing team together. It's a family, and I always have. And now he's doing one camp. Benavides camp is really nice. It's a beautiful place. You know, it's around. It's beautiful. The run around. The train is nice. So it's a complete house. You guys can check it out. Have a place for athletes to sleep, training, everything. And I'm there for end of the camp. I'm really happy. And you know, he's don't try change my style, but he tried giving me tools for me to continue doing my style, doing exciting fight. And I love it. I love it because one of the things is believe in me. You know, his belief I can do that. And I'm really happy to be there. And I know he's gonna be doing amazing things.
Yep. Yeah, you back with us. Should be back with us, bro.
Works.
Okay.
I am back.
Yep, we good. Yeah, like you were talking there with about Jose Benavides, of course, with the Benavides family there, David Benavides, Jose Benavides Jr. You also have other fighters there like Diego Pacheco, part of that camp that you're
Yes.
working with and working alongside there, while being in Washington. So you learned a lot, from those other fighters while you're building up yourself here in this professional career in boxing.
Yes, I just we have a lot of different times training, so sometimes I can just watch. After I train, I can watch the guys training, and you will learn. Watch what are they doing. It's really cool. Have like three another fighters. They're gonna fight in May too, so then really push really hard. And it's really nice to share, like you say in MMA, you to share the mat with them, share the ring with them. For me, it's a pleasure, and it's an honor to be there and have a lot of top fighters there training.
Yep, no doubt, no doubt. Now you talk about being involved in this fight night San Jose, and you mentioned Scott Coker and Gilbert Melendez, and you mentioned the thing there as far as like being in the ring, sometime back there, with MMA, and just go more into that and how that has a sentimental value to you there, being able to compete once again in San Jose.
It make me really happy. I can be doing more boxing fights. Really helping me improve my game and get a little bit more experience. Everybody, because everything I did in MMA didn't come with boxing. Boxing I started the bottle again, and really happy be around familiar faces. I already work Scott Cook. I work with Gilbert Melendez. It's really nice to be there and to be fight May 17th, San Jose, one special place. When I got my first title, it's gonna complete 20 years. It's gonna be a really amazing night, and I'm very excited to share with the young fighters and coming up too. So it was a great show.
Yeah, as I mentioned there, with it being a mix of boxing matches, Muay Thai, kickboxing, MMA matches, there within that one card, you get to see those young fighters that are coming up as well, and they're able to look up to you as a mentor there, within MMA, but also at the same time, with you boxing, they can see what you're doing there as far as like another, as I say, martial art, because boxing to me is a martial art still. You know what I mean? So you still have that, coming up. Now, with your opponent there, Precious Harris-McCray, she had been very active last year, 2024, as all 5 fights that she's had in her career, pretty much happened within the span of 6 months. Now, she's been going through or went through a lot of adversity to get through the boxing ring. But have you been able to check out a few highlights from Precious Harris-McCray?
I really respect my opponent. I'm really glad, happy to share. I know it's gonna be a tough fighter because this I really take serious. I come to Benavides team again, focus on boxing training, and I know she's come to great victories. And I know it's gonna be a tough fight. Be ready, training, dedicated, and I always respect my opponents because I really work hard.
Yep. Like you said, you've been very active here within this year. You've had a couple of fights this year through boxing, particularly with your last one in March there, where you're able to take care of business and get that stoppage victory
Yes.
there. You know what I mean? Now, of course, as I mentioned before, you're like the most decorated fighter in mixed martial arts, right? But my question in reference to that: do you feel like you've accomplished everything there is to do in mixed martial arts, or is there still an itch that you want to scratch?
I love my job. I never thought I was gonna do whatever everything I did in the MMA. My number one focus is grow the women's MMA, show the girls can fight like a guys, can be exciting fight, and see how much you grow the sport. Make really happy when you see the young girls say, Chris, I start fight because I watch your fights. It was really nice. It make me happy. You did a nice job, and I believe like I still have a lot of fire in my heart. I love my job, but I know
Mhm.
it's I know I'm walking to the end. I know I'm gonna. I have like 2 fights left in my MMA career, and I'm telling people it's my start my legacy tour. In my last fight when beat Larissa Pacheco when they got my fifth belt my career, but they're gonna start the legacy tour. So make sure you guys stay follow me my next fights because I'm not gonna have a lot of, anymore. So I really focus on finish this year and next year, and I'm done. I'm ready for the next chapter. But I have a lot of fire in my heart. One
Mhm.
of my goals. I would like to fight for the boxing title, and maybe I can be the only MMA fighter champion, the box champion, same time. And I'm work really hard.
All right, so we got at least a couple more fights in MMA here for either this year or for next year, and then we see what, like you said, what will be the next chapter there on that particular front. But that also goes into like what I was going to ask next, as far as like what is your plan for the rest of this year, whether it's in mixed martial arts or in boxing as well.
After this boxing fight, probably I'm going to do MMA fight. So soon I finish this fight, I gotta take a little break, but back to routine training mixed martial arts. And let's see, really exactly the day, and then maybe I can plan after this fight one more boxing fight. I believe it's important to keep active in boxing for me can learn it more and more. Every
Hmm.
time I do in the camps, I learn something new, and if I want to fight for the title, I have to dedicate and a lot and be and learning every day.
Gotcha, gotcha. Now I got a couple more questions here for you. Now, first here is like I kind of like talk with a few people here and there. Of course, they're within the sport of boxing, and one of the big stories involves you, being the biggest name, or pretty much one of the biggest names in women's combat sports, right? Like we all know about the multi-division champion there in boxing, as they say, the GWOAT, Clarissa Shields, and how your name has been tied to her for a potential fight, whether it's in the boxing ring or in mixed martial arts. Now, I've talked with Brooklyn Barwick, who's been involved in a couple of your events there in the past, and she's been really pushing for that fight to go ahead and take place. Now, what is your takes on Clarissa Shields, and if you would like that fight to come to fruition anytime soon?
The big issue is about it was about the weight. But I said, I can make 154 for we can make this fight happen. But her team says she cannot make this weight this year. I don't know what's the plan, but she will have it now. Usually I fight 145, and I'm doing box 154. Um, I'm willing to make a great fight. I know she have a lot of experience in boxing. So because this, I would say, okay, maybe you can start to be on diet for make a big fight for the fans. You can see Serrano and Katie Taylor. They really get into to do big fights for boxing. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's amazing. She's a have a big name. I have a big name. I think we can make work, and not just think about ourselves, but think about to grow the boxing, female boxing. I think it's really important. Like what I did into MMA, I think I came to box. I think we can promote this. For younger girls want to be a boxer fighters. I think it was nice. I think what Serrano Keretele doing is amazing, and you don't see a lot of big names in boxing. Like you can fight each other. I think it's amazing. MMA against boxing. We can fight MMA to get against each other. We can fight boxing before whatever. I'm willing to make history. I like to make history. I did a lot of history in MMA, and I think I can build a lot of history in boxing. And if she don't want to do together, don't problem. It's gonna show up a lot of girls. Have a lot of girls who would like to fight me, and I will accept the challenge. I like to work hard and they make the difference where I'm at.
Gotcha. I mean, like you said, it's one thing there, with the weight, as far as like being able to come to an agreement with that, and that has pretty much like been the major hangup. But as you also said, you want to make the biggest fights out there, whether it was from mixed martial arts and then here in boxing. And you mentioned the thing there, of course, with Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano, and how there are two fights up to this point, and now this third fight coming up on July 11th
Yes.
is really like grown the sport of women's boxing. And given what is going to happen on that date, with it being on Netflix and all women's fight card, that really boosts the sport of women's boxing, and we
Yes.
definitely want to be involved in and be a part of that too. So, maybe it might be Clarissa Shields, or maybe somebody else. I don't know. Maybe Savannah Marshall or Franchon Cruz, or listen. I'll come up with a few names out there probably that you could go ahead and face here in the future, so we'll be able to make those big fights happen. Y'all, I'm putting on a promoter hat for that. All right, now cool. All right, so we're gonna see if we can wrap this up here really quick. Now, my thing is, when it's all said and done, what is your ultimate goal in boxing?
My goal is to keep doing some fights and learning. I think every time I step in the ring, get some experience. I'm still. I started the bottle again in my career in boxing. I'm really excited. My goal is keep grinding and have the opportunity to fight for the title in boxing and maybe be the champion same time in MMA and in boxing same time. So let's see what's gonna happen. But I'm working really hard for do that.
Yep. But you're pretty much off to a great start, of course. Here, being undefeated here so far, and we got this big fight coming up here May 17th at Tech CU Arena in San Jose. So you'll be sure to look forward to that. Of course, tickets are available there at Ticketmaster or by visiting FightNightSanJose.com in order to get tickets and things like that. But also, you can follow Fight Night San Jose for, more information about this fight card, and where you could find, how you could watch this, whether it's there live or, through Fight Night San Jose, and that too. Now, one more question here before we roll out. Outside of maybe, David Benavidez and Jose Benavidez Jr., who are fighters there in boxing that you look up to here currently?
I'm a really big fan of Pacquiao. I met him in person. He's a really humble guy. I watch his training, and I learned a lot from him. The champion, help his people, and yeah, I think he's the one guy I really make me really happy meet him in person.
Gotcha. Of course, Manny Pacquiao, multi-division world champion, soon to be in the International Boxing Hall of Fame. And you know what? I'll just keep that at that right now. Reference to Manny Pacquiao, but we might hear something about Manny Pacquiao here pretty soon. But thank you very much here for taking the time to speak with the Boxing Source, and we're going to look forward to seeing you there in action May 17th in San Jose, part of Fight Night San Jose 3 at the Tech CU Arena. Thank you so much.
Welcome. Thank you.
All right. See
Nice.
y'all later. All
See
right.
you. Bye
We're out
bye.
here at the Boxing Source.